So, here I am in my map. You can see it's tier 15 irradiated. Sorry, I didn't have a good T16 to use. Monsters have increased move speed, increased attack speed, increased cast speed. They gain 40% of damage, or they deal 40% of damage as extra cold. So, this should be a kind of harsh area. Let's see how our build does in it. Let's see how much damage we can do. Start off with a mirror. Now in this build, we don't care about anything. We can run at everything we want to. We just stab it, we get some nice explosions. Could be made faster by using Rake, but oh well. Keep going through. We can dash anywhere we want. We only need to press W, and now and then tap our mana flask if our mana's dropped down too much. We kind of create all these different explosions as we're going through. We can even loot during the middle of fights because we don't care about dying and that's not going to happen to us. So I can focus on opening that small little chest because I know I'm not going to die. I haven't had to use a health flask once, I've only had to use mana flasks now and then. Couple rares over here. Keep pushing towards them. Oh, unique blacksmith strongbox. Health dropped down a bit, but then it instantly came back up. There's an orb of annulment and an exalt. Okay, let's see what we get in here. 35 packs of monsters, not a problem for us. Stand and press W, and then mana flask whenever the mana drops down a bit. More exalts, very nice. But you can see just how this build physically doesn't lose HP. Any moment it does lose HP, it goes straight back up afterwards. Level 19 Spirit Gem. I'll mana flask a bit. But I'm standing in like 10 different AoEs, and I'm fine. More monsters, still don't have to health flask. Just keep pressing W, and that's all I have to do. W and 2 whenever I need some more mana. Oh, health dropped a little bit, but if I really needed to, I could health flask, but I don't need to. What a disappointing strongbox. Totally sad. Should have focused on the mirror, ideally. Just run at them again. Stand in all the AoEs and chaos explosions, because we don't care about them. Wisp. Let's see where it goes. There's a breach above us as well, which I'll go up to afterwards. Probably using Rake is faster, but I hate how when you use Rake, you then have to, for bossing, set up all your skill gems in Rapid Assault. It's really annoying to me, so I'd rather just run Rapid Assault for everything, even if it's a little bit slower. But if you'd like, you can definitely swap them in and out. So like I got hit sometimes there, getting hit again more, but it just comes back instantly. Go do the breach. Deal with the rare once I've opened it. Mana took a really big hit there. I should just focus on dealing with the breach right now. See all these lovely little lightning explosions that we get. Makes the build feel fun. Combined with the Herald of Blood, we're getting so many cool different things going off whilst we're playing. Wow, I actually took a big hit there. I don't know what did that. So there are some moments that you can die, but I've only died to pinnacle bosses. I haven't died during a map for basically the last week, really. Nah. I didn't do the best because I kind of suck and I don't really know how breaches work properly. 10 splinters, something. Clear through the rare really quickly. We have even really good single target damage, and we have great AoE damage as well. And anyone who says otherwise is just using the standards of really, really OP meta builds. This isn't meant to be a meta build, it's meant to be just a fun little relaxed build where I can walk around and most stuff's just going to kill itself by me walking around. Whenever I need to do more, I'll just use my W key. But yeah, most stuff is just going to kill itself whilst we're playing. Which is why this build's so fun. You never die, you just walk around. All the stuff is going to blow up in lightning explosions. And it's really chill gameplay whilst playing. Really, really chill gameplay. These enemies, I mean, I can just stand still and without even pressing anything, they've all blown up in a few seconds. Obviously, you're going to attack because it makes it much faster. But yeah, that's it. Clear the map. Only took a fewish minutes, probably. Could look around more because there should be some more strong boxes, but that's it. In this clip, I was actually testing out a different unique spear, Tangle Tongue, which doesn't seem to work. So if I were using the correct spear, the DPS would have been slightly higher in this clip. So in this clip, I'm against +3 King of the Mists. It's the most fun benchmark, it's not the most fair benchmark. We are abusing the tornadoes to constantly proc Thorns. This gives us super, super high damage that you won't normally have in most situations. Really fun though, and decent clear speeds. Also in this clip, I wasn't utilizing some of the improvements I made in the build. For example, I don't use conductivity, and I'm also not using voltaic mark. So this damage is actually lower than the current version. I just haven't tried it because I'm kind of like busy at the moment. I don't really have time to be spamming pinnacles and stuff. I just want a lot of relaxed mapping. But the damage will be even higher. But I personally wouldn't have voltaic mark in the cast on block for this, because it would spam your mana like crazy. I would just manual cast voltaic mark in this situation. So, when you think of Thorns builds, you probably think of slow, boring gameplay hitting maybe one enemy at a time. Well, Thorns doesn't have to be that way. Let's take a look at how we got this build to play so much better. So, I am using Cast on Block now. Cast on Block has Voltaic Mark, and it's a full quality Voltaic Mark. This creates some cool lightning explosions, and the 45% increased effect of shot means that we can now hit 29% shock on enemies. It also has inspiration because we spend so much mana on this. It has lightning exposure when we shock a target, and it also has 100% more chance to shock. This is only useful for mapping because this will never proc exposure on a single target boss, because it's only the explosion from the enemy's corpse that can apply the lightning exposure. It's still a nice quality of life for mapping though. Some people run Detonate Dead on their cast on block. I'm liking Voltaic Mark. Now then, for your Spear Stab, you need Exploit Weakness. When your Scavenge Plating runs out and you need to re-break the boss's armor, you just stab them once to restore their armor, and then you can break it again and get your Scavenge Plating back. Rapid Assault, you can also use Rake, that's the other popular option, but they're the two main choices. You want Barbs for Thorns damage, you want Quill Burst for Thorns damage. I've got Magnified Effect to make it bigger. And then, this isn't proccing much at all, but it doesn't cost anything, so I have C Red in there, because if it ever does proc, then we're getting the enemies to increase their attack speed, which increases our damage overall. Shield Charge is just Ingenuity. I have Stomping Ground in just for fun. This is your mobility. Scavenge Plating is your main damage. This is the main skill you want to have high level. Pretty much everything else can be low level in the build. Fawn Skin, necessary. Persistence, really helpful. Physical Mastery, really helpful. For mapping, I run Herald of Blood and Mana Remnants to do AoE damage and to sustain our mana. If you want a safer variant, you could disable Herald of Blood and put on Time of Need, but you shouldn't really need that. In Time of Need, there's just fast forwards to make it heal you faster. For bossing, you swap to Attrition. Now for this setup to work, you need at least 110 Spirit. The easiest way to do that is to have a Solar Amulet with at least 10 Spirit as a base modifier. If you're really struggling, you can put a Soul Core of Azkaban into your weapon and it will give you 15 Spirit necessary for the build. So yeah, either get an Amulet with 10 Spirit or put a Soul Core of Azkaban into your weapon. I've personally just got Strength in mine. That's it for the skill gems. The only ones you want to level are Scavenge Plating to the max. Try to get Voltaic Mark as high as your attributes will let you, and try to get these two as high as your attributes will let you. Same with Attrition, but stuff like Shield Charge and Rapid Assault, you don't need to level those at all. Let's go over the gear. Mandatory for this build to function. The helmet, because it lets your forms retaliate against all hits. The boots, because it gives you so much crit chance. So, those are necessary. Also Svalin as well for my variant on this build. But for any Thorns build in general, you want these two. And then for my specific build, you want Svalin here. Okay then. The weapon is just going to be this to aggravate bleeding. That will increase our bleeding damage. Now we can go over the other pieces of gear. The amulet, I've prioritized life, 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 and then you can pad it with some armor, because that's good, any resistances that you need, and then either crit chance or crit damage bonus are nice to have as well. I'm chasing life as much as possible though, because we really need it to survive hits in this build. This applies to your chest, your gloves, and your belt. Just chase on the body armor and the belt. You need as much Thorns damage as possible. I think I can definitely improve mine. So once you've got your Thorns damage, just fill the rest with life and resistances and armor. That's all you need. Your gloves, again, just life, resistances, armor. That's all you need on them. All of your gear, your armor, you're going to socket Runes of Tithing in to give us increased lightning Thorns damage. So you want a 2-link Svalin if you can. You want 2-link boots, 2-link helmet. These will be more expensive. If you can't afford them, just get 1-links. And then we can look at the rings. The rings, you want increased lightning damage on both of these because they're going to buff your Thorns damage. And then you can just fill the other modifiers with life and resistances. Those are all that you need. And then I've qualityed life on all of my rings and my amulets because I want to get as much HP as possible. That's about it for the gear. We can take a look at the passive tree next. In the passive tree, I'm still kind of trying to perfect what's really necessary here. You obviously need the Thorns nodes because they're the base of our build. So there's this section here, this section here, you've got this section here, and then you've got this section here. You only need these 3, you don't need these because we are breaking armor already. So that's the Thorns. Okay, next we can talk about how do we scale our damage in this build. There's a few things. The crit nodes here will apply to our Thorns, so you'll take those in your build. The other damage sections are up here. This is increased physical damage, so we can scale this. We don't scale attack damage because we're not doing attacks, but the physical damage is good here. Other sections to increase our damage include down here. We've got increased physical damage. This notable here gives increased damage and gives some block chance on the way. This bleed, yeah, bleed seems to help with a bit of damage. That's kind of nice to get these bleed points. So lastly, we have brute strength, which gives a tiny bit more damage, but it gives a fair amount of survivability by getting these strength nodes here. That's it for damage in the passive tree. Next, we'll look at survivability. We've got our block chance nodes, which we get here, we get here, we get here, and we get here. Those are our block chance. Then we have other means of survivability. We've got our armor sections here, we've got our armor sections here, and that was the other block chance. And then the last point of survivability in the build is kind of getting these maximum resistances here whilst we path over, which is nice. And then leeching. Leeching, we get a little bit from here, and we get a little bit from here. And I want to explain why we've done this. Some people take the unique gloves at ZD's Acuity because it gives a bunch of crit chance and it makes leech from critical hits be instant. I don't like the instant leech. I hate it because it wastes a lot of leech. You just instantly heal up and then you stop healing because you already healed everything. I don't like that. So I've gone down here. This increases our life leeched. It also gives increased physical damage, which is nice. More life leeched. And then fast metabolism. This makes the build so much nicer because it means even when you hit full HP, the leech effects still continue in the background. So if you then leech to full HP and then drop back down really quickly again, it's still going to keep leeching from the last time you started leeching. So it's really safe. But there are some moments where you do need instant leech because the slow leech can be really painful sometimes, which is why we take this section here. Increases our amount of life leeched, and voracious. 20% of the leech is instant. This means when you're attacking, you will get sudden jumps in health to bring you back up quickly, but you will have 80% of your healing as background passive healing. Makes your survivability really nice, and it's why we are constantly healing, because we're constantly instantly healing, and we're constantly background healing. So it's like a double layer of leech. It's really nice. I don't remember if I already talked about this, but this is the body armor section here. I believe I've talked about everything. Oh, and there's one section here. Just gives 3% increased maximum life. Frankly, this might not be necessary, but I like it. It's a bit of tankiness. Going over the Ascendancy. Oh, and no, sorry. We also have taken this on the skill tree by using a jewel from Nothing Diamond. If I level up some more times, maybe I'll put into more crit chance because that's going to increase the overall damage. And also we have Anointed in our amulet up here. This is how we managed to hit such high crit chance without particularly crazy investment into it. So that's that. The Ascendancy next then. We're going up here to break armor on all hits. This lets our Thorns break armor, and this is why Warbringer is so key for this build. I've taken you can break enemy armor to below 0 because that increases our damage. Frankly, for high tier pinnacle bosses that do a lot of damage, it might be necessary to take Encase and Jade instead of the negative armor break. that's debatable, which one's best. But for your general mapping, this is just going to give you faster clearing and mapping, and you will be plenty safe whilst clearing maps. The other part of the Ascendancy tree is all of this. This is why we can block constantly, and we just never die. So take that for survivability. The last part of the build would then be jewels. Now, for your jewels, you want a from nothing diamond. If you really want to min-max your crit and get that. My other jewel, block chance, meh. 23% increased damage against enemies with fully broken armor. Those are the only valuable ones here. I could definitely improve this with a better jewel. And the only other jewel is this one. Skill effects duration, kind of nice for scavenged plating. Increased damage against enemies with fully broken armor, really important. And then 19% increased Thorns damage, really important as well. So those are kind of the stats you want to chase on your jewels. They're going to be the increased damage against enemies with fully broken armor, because we're always breaking armor. And the increased Thorns damage, because all of our damage is Thorns damage. That's everything from the build, I believe. I don't think there's anything more for me to discuss. So, yeah, that'll be it. I'm still debating what's truly necessary or not as I level up. Maybe I can min-max a little bit more points to put into some other stuff. But for your general mapping, this is a really safe setup that still has good damage. I've killed tier 2 Zesht on this build. I've killed +3 King of the Mists with this build. I almost killed +4, but I messed up at the very end. I broke all of my armor by accident. So this is really good. It can do pinnacle content. I haven't done Arbiter because I'm not suicidal. Arbiter is the worst boss I've ever seen in any game ever and needs significant improvements. Frankly, I think it should be removed and replaced with something else. But in terms of like the fun pinnacle bosses, yeah, this is good. I also haven't gone through Sekimas on this, because again, I'm not suicidal. It probably will destroy the Sekima's pinnacle boss, because he's got some really fast hitting lightning attacks, and yeah, we would probably dish out like 3 million damage just by standing in that lightning attack for a second. So yeah, have fun with the build. So there is actually one enemy that's really difficult for the build. This is the hardest enemy in the game. This little sad dude here who just curses you and rolls around and he doesn't hit you. So, and he taunts you the entire time. It actually really pissed me off. The only way I beat him was by finding other enemies to proc Thorns on.